So in this recording, I'm going to talk a little bit about a Hybrid Connect service, which is in the Bluemix catalog. And you'll see while I'm talking that I'm going to be searching for the Hybrid Connect tile. Hybrid Connect is actually an experimental service at the moment, so I need to click on the link here to the Bluemix experimental services, and then search for the Hybrid Connect tile, which appears within the integration area. Enterprises can sometimes struggle to track product instances and usage and status. And with this problem in mind, what we're looking at here with Hybrid Connect service is how IBM Integration Bus, being just one of a number of IBM products, they're supporting this service, which lets you create a unique Bluemix instance where you can actually view this product information and usage information securely and store it and view it within a single dashboard. So what I'm going to do here is, obviously I've gone in and found the Hybrid Connect tile. I'm going to create an example of this service, and the first thing we need to do is to give the service a name. I can create multiple different service instances, and I could do it in different Bluemix spaces. I'm going to let the service create some credentials for me by default as well. And when I create this first service instance, I'm going to be placed on this Getting Started page. And the page itself just describes what the service is for. So in a moment we'll go through the fact that there is two kinds of information being stored. Startup data, which includes things like the product install location, product version, and whether you have any APARs applied. And then there's also the concept of usage data. The usage data itself, which is being reported, varies depending on the product. So in the case of IBM Integration Bus, we report the number of active CPUs for the integration server process and the amount of CPU being used by the integration server. So we'll just scroll back up to the top of the screen here, and that's probably enough on the Getting Started panel. I'm going to move across to Service Credentials, and like many Bluemix services, you need to have some means of identifying an application you're going to be integrating with. And in this case, we have the concept of an API key. And using this API key, I can configure Integration Bus to send registration information and usage information at the point where the Integration Bus integration server starts up. You can see at the moment that I haven't got any products registered. I've literally just created this service. So next is show you how to register an example of Integration Bus and start sending data to the service. So here you can see I have a command for that purpose, and what I'm going to do here is start by just doing a listing on my local machine, and you can see that I have a single integration node defined already. Test node underscore Ben has an integration server underneath it. It's just the default integration server. And what I'm going to do now is to execute a change Bluemix reporting command. The purpose of this command is to turn on the reporting metrics I just spoke about. The -g parameter specifies that all applications, all integration servers rather, should send information. I can turn it on a case-by-case basis for individual servers if you prefer. The -c activates the feature, and the b parameter here is just specifying where we send the data to. Being an experimental feature, that URL may change in future. The -i parameter specifies the time interval over which we will send data, and then the -k parameter is the API key that you just saw from the service itself. So with that setting, all I need to do now is stop my integration node and then restart it again for the settings to take effect. And once that's happened, we will then start sending data from the integration node. So I'll pause for a few minutes while that information gets sent through, and then I'll restart the video and come back to take a look at the dashboard, and we can see the impact of having applied those changes. Okay, so just returning to my dashboard, on the Manage panel you can see that I now have all products registered there. I've got an Integration Bus product registered, and I've got an Integration Server registered there as well in the center column. And on the right hand side here you can see some usage information. So I'm currently on a setting showing the active CPUs for the process. On my laptop here I have 8 cores running, and I also have a time period that I can change. So I can say look at its statistic for the last 24 hours, for example. I can also change to view the CPU used by the process during that time period. You can see that's varied quite significantly as I've been conducting different amounts of workload on my local box. So that's basically what you see in terms of usage. It's also possible to switch to the details panel here and see some more product information. This gives you obviously the name and the version of the product installed, where it's placed, and an instance identifier, and the point at which it was last started. I can switch to the environment tab here and also see details of the operating system value as well. So, quite a basic example, and that concludes our very brief look around the Hybrid Connect service for today. Just to finally leave you with the information that this is an experimental service at present, so of course it may change its look and feel over the forthcoming months. But if you'd like to give us any feedback on what you think so far, and in particular from an integration bus point of view, that would be much appreciated.